LAPD leads the state, in fact.
She just got out of the car.
This woman just jumped out of the car and is now running. She's running into a store down below here. LAPD helicopter sees it as well. We're going to continue to track the vehicle. It's smoking even more now on the back end of it. So the car is disabled. The LAPD helicopter had to have directed ground units to that facility down below. And again, possible robbery suspects, whether or not it was armed or not, that's unclear, but a real dangerous situation. A female passenger jumps out of the automobile. This is something else.
It could have been a case. It seems like it. Hey, get me out of here.
Yeah, we call that a tuck and roll. When they literally bail out the way they did. Hey, it looks like both of the wheels on this Jeep here look like they're out here. This looks flat. That's probably where all the smoke is coming from. It's riding on its rims.
And we just important here. We just got confirmation. Police have pulled off of this. They have pulled off of this, at least on the ground. They thought it was much too dangerous to the general public. Again, LAPD with all of these pursuits, and we have, Bob and Marla, seen an uptick in these pursuits. I just read that they released, LAPD did some statistics, and we are up year to year. We still have a few more weeks of 2017 to go. 20%. We're covering more of these pursuits because there are more of them.
What's going on with this white truck here?
In these densely populated areas here, it really creates a situation where somebody could get badly injured or even killed. All right, here we go. He's going to run. He's going to bail. The question you said about, look at that, just real casually, bail in the car. He's got a blue hoodie on. We're going to help out as well, obviously. We track, and there he goes into some residential facility. Bails his vehicle in the middle of the street here. We will get it. He's running down the alley here. His female companion did the same thing.
And we're still
a few blocks to the west. We're more in Valley Village, North Hollywood. But we're going to keep tracking him from above here as well and give LAPD some surveillance if they need it. But they backed off on the ground here because of the danger that this was posing to the general public. Again, 2 possible robbery suspects being pursued throughout the San Fernando Valley in that Jeep, which was becoming more and more disabled on the freeway and on surface streets as well. And again, because this could be a robbery suspect, it's unclear if this guy could be armed at this time, and he's just running. Whether or not he knows the neighborhood or not, that's unclear. But what he could be doing, Bob and Marla, is looking for another mode of transportation. We've seen situations, we've covered situations like this in which these suspects bail one vehicle
and he'll carjack
because it becomes disabled, and then they'll carjack another, and that's exactly what could happen here. So we're going to have to look at this. See, he's walking out onto the street here.
There's a black
an
and
LAPD
white
unit right there, and let's see what happens here. So. I think he may attempt to do something here and get in a vehicle. But that LAPD, I don't know if this guy knows he's behind him. But let's get this guy. Come on. He's walking up to individual cars here.
Well, we got a chance here. Let's remind you, you're watching an early edition of the Fox 11 News at noon right now. A pursuit now has become a foot pursuit. And as usual, this guy is really losing some steam here.
He's done. They got him.
Yeah,
good job, LAPD. Now he's running. Okay. Now he's running again, so we'll see what happens. He sees a female cop running after him, and he's trying to get away. And she's going to get him, that's right. Bring him down. There we go. In custody.
Did he run because it was simply a female cop?
Who knows? You have no idea. But
good for her.
Looks like there was some backup there, and the guy really lost some steam here.
Get him.
And likely realized there was really nowhere for him to go. Now, we do have to point out that there was another person, a female, that was inside that Jeep, and she bailed out earlier.
A few blocks before. It ran into, it looked like some sort of a business there, so we don't know where she is. Again, these are possible robbery suspects. Rick, you're saying this is more North Hollywood, Valley Village area?
Yeah, we're right on the border here. We'll get you a cross street here in just a second. In fact, let's do that now that this guy's in custody. Again, he left his Jeep disabled, running still on a nearby street here, and it appeared, at least from our vantage point, that he was looking to possibly get into another vehicle to get away because that Jeep had become so disabled. His female companion jumped out a few blocks before. She was able to run into looked like a mini mall of some sorts, but LAPD had eyes on her as well. We'll have to find out if she is in custody. But the the driver of this pursuit in custody now here by the LAPD. This pursuit first started when the West Valley Division of the LAPD initiated it. Possibly robbery suspects in that Jeep. So let's get the streets now. We'll widen out here and we'll get a better view. More LAPD units showing up. From what we saw, fortunately there were no collisions, but because that car was so disabled, that may have not have been the case. We may have missed a few of those. We'll see what street this is here, but it's in the city limits of Los Angeles, obviously, the San Fernando Valley. We're on the corner of a toll, and this major right here, I believe, is Victory. So here in the Valley Village.
It is a victory that no one was hurt, considering how recklessly this person was driving.
You're exactly right. And we saw a number of close calls, both to other motorists and pedestrians. So good thing that nobody, at least from our vantage point, was hurt in this situation. But trying to get away. Again, pursuits here in the city of Los Angeles up 20% this year, year to year. We've seen more. We're covering more. And we've seen some end terribly. And fortunately, this one, at least from our vantage point, did not. There's a disabled Jeep. Evidence inside that Jeep. Obviously, it's smoking. It's disabled here. Units there. And they're back behind us a couple blocks to the west as well, checking on that location where the female driver bailed out while that vehicle was still moving at a good clip.
Right, Rick. So we are hearing that this suspect may have been involved in a robbery at a Metro PCS store.
Okay.
Just so you know. What about that female suspect? Can we go back to that location since this guy's wrapped up and see if LAPD is there and trying to
go back
get her into
down
custody?
a few blocks here. It's a little bit more to the right in there. That's the corner right there. That's where we saw her run into.
Now, if this was in any way an armed robbery, obviously this poses another dangerous situation here because you have someone that was bailing out of a vehicle. We don't know if this woman was armed, and if she goes into any sort of establishment and there are people inside, whether it turns into this foot pursuit would turn into some sort of a hostage situation.
Which is a whole other crime.
Okay, we got it. We do have an update. There she is. That is her right there. Is that not her? That is her. That's a beer and wine store she ran into. She's moving south. We're going to give LAPD info on this, stats on this, making her way southbound. And look, that is her. That is the suspect. We're gonna stay on her. South on Woodman, from coming away from Victory. South on Woodman, walking. Now she's going into the construction site.
Wow. Wow.
All right, so we're letting LAPD know that at this time. We saw her run into to that beer and wine location right there. She hung out in there for a little while, thought the coast was clear. Not code 4 here. We're watching from up here, and we saw her make her way southbound on Woodman, coming away from Victory there. And now she has a lot of places to hide in this facility, although there are construction workers up there, and they can bring in K9 units. So they're going to be made aware that there's going to be a suspicious individual in here. Obviously, she does not match the description of someone who would be working on a complex. As you see, the workers up above there in hard hats and construction gear, she is not. So she will stand out.
Well, she walked away with a purpose. You know, she didn't want to run, obviously. Make her look even more guilty.
She didn't want to look obvious.
LAPD did not know where she was. We provided that intel for them, so they're on their way.
Well,
that's right.
As Marla was just saying, what timing here? As we just asked you to pull to see if you know what happened to her.
Props to Marla. Marla wanted us to go down.
Right?
Exactly. So we did, and the timing was perfect. And sure enough, we got her, and she's in that facility, and we're going to see LAPD units roll up. And I want to see her get taken into custody as well. They really put a lot of people at danger here throughout the San Fernando Valley, from Van Nuys across the Valley floor towards the Valley Village and North Hollywood area. On the freeways, 101, 405, Haskell, Victory, Sherman Way, and now down below here, she's hiding out. Second custody robbery suspect. There's the LAPD unit. There they are, crossing our picture there. They're above us now, and they are going, or below us, I should say, and they're going to track this from above and bring in units on the ground.
Well, I know that we're trying to re-rack the moment that she bailed from that Jeep during the pursuit.
That was quite a moment. I mean, it was.
Here it is.
The Jeep, still rolling at the time, albeit at a short rate of speed, but that's still.
It's a moving vehicle, nonetheless.
Skidding there on the roadway as she just bails and then runs, as we said, into what appears to be some sort of a strip mall liquor store. Look at this again. And this is when he decides to get out of this Jeep as well. Now that came almost to a stop, and then he runs across the street.
And then he was trying to act all nonchalantly as well, but then he started to panic and thought, hey, what am I going to do here? I'm going to try to get in another vehicle. Otherwise, he would not be walking across traffic looking at those cars as they were making their way east and westbound on Victory here. He was looking for another mode to get out of there, and fortunately, LAPD caught up with him, and he was tackled by a strong LAPD officer and taken into custody.
All right, so let's take it back to where this woman now, the other suspect, walked into, and it looks like some sort of a building under construction. Construction workers there at the scene. She left that strip mall or that liquor store, apparently, and then kind of walked in a very deliberate manner down the sidewalk, as we saw, and walked right into that construction zone. So it is a large area.
There's a lot of places to hide. Yeah, there's a lot of places to hide. It looks like this is going to be, obviously a multi-level, multi-unit housing facility and apartment structure that's being built here in the valley. And obviously it's come along, it's evolved, this construction site. So there's likely stairs already in place so that they can get up. We're giving the description now to the LAPD. My pilot Zeus he's relaying to the LAPD what attire that female suspect was wearing, because they are unclear on that even. So we are helping the Los Angeles Police Department the best we can. We were fortunate enough to grab that shot of her leaving that beer and wine facility there on the corner of Woodman and Victory, right there adjacent to the construction site there. And she walked in a way that had purpose, as you guys said, and walked right in there into the entrance there.
And there's a very good chance that business has surveillance tape as well, if need be, if it comes to that.
No question. No question, right on the corner there. That beer and wine facility, no doubt, has some sort of camera system in there as well. So we have a good ID on her. Obviously, we have video of her jumping out, entering the beer and wine store there, and then walking out maybe 15, not even that, maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, and then into this facility. So she's likely hiding out somewhere. LAPD is aware. They have a description of her and know of the location because of our intel up here in Skyfox. And you can see, as we widen out a little bit, that LAPD helicopter is circling. You can see the shadow there over the intersection. There it is, coming into frame there from left to right over the intersection. And here comes at least the first LAPD squad car. No, a slew of them coming up on this facility right here. And they're gonna track her down. Here they go. We got what, five cars coming up, 5 LAPD units arriving on scene here, and they're gonna scour this place and take her into custody.
In the meantime, back over to the other scene. Is that guy? Are they still there?
That's a code 4 situation. Definitely clear. The vehicle's clear except for the evidence. There's still activity there, but he's been cuffed, as we saw, and taken into custody and do a patrol.
Oh, they're questioning people there.
Well, it looks like these people may be witnesses, or these people maybe they were in that liquor store that we were talking about, or in that area.
And we've told the LAPD this is the entrance that she made her way into, but again, there's a lot of exit points too. Hopefully, they're going to set up a perimeter, a line around this building, maybe around the block even, and that out of our sight, it's possible she could have exited on the other side. But it's a good area to hang out for a little bit and to hide if you do need to. So she may just stay put and then know that our office will bring in a canine unit and they'll make sure that canine has obtained descent from the disabled Jeep that was left abandoned, and then send that canine unit into this construction facility and find her.
And
so officers looking in there.
I was going to mention, Rick, that this is not your first pursuit of the day that you've been over, in fact.
No, and the other one ended in a deadly fashion with one person losing their lives. Whether or not, looking forward to a report from Phil Schuman, who's been covering that beat from what happened in the Malibu area earlier. And that was a pursuit involving LA County deputies from the LA County Sheriff's Department. This one an LAPD pursuit, and it looks like they are talking to perhaps a foreman, a construction worker, somebody in there who may have seen that female enter this complex. Again, she would stand out because of her attire, because we're looking at all the construction workers above, and they are all dressed in construction gear with hard hats on. So we'll see. There's this. The work continues. There they are, up on the rooftop of this multi-story center of the San Fernando Valley here. This complex being built here on the corner on actually Woodman, but off of Victory Boulevard.
Well, no doubt if they see this woman, she's going to stand out in that area.
Follow the running officers. Whenever you see officers running, something's happening. So let's see. This may be it right here. Obviously, we're not going to be able to see it. And they are taking her into custody. We just see now the LAPD is providing us with information in return. She has been taken into custody. So we'll watch as they pull her out.